Imagine waking up one morning, you serve in the most powerful navy of the empire, your mission is simple, destroy a pirate fleet, but weeks later, you don't return. Your ship does. Your men do, but your commander doesn't, because he took his own life. He couldn't bear the shame of losing. What's even worse, the person who defeated him wasn't an admiral, wasn't an emperor, it was a woman. In the early 19th century, there was a name in the South China Sea that could change a merchant's route overnight. Coastal towns paid taxes in her name. Imperial navies avoided fighting her whenever possible. At one point, she commanded nearly 80,000 pirates, and more ships than many nations possessed. But that isn't the strangest part of the story, because this woman wasn't born a leader. She wasn't raised in a palace. She never attended a military academy. In fact, during the first years of her life, almost nobody knew her name. She was an ordinary woman living along the southern coast of China. Most accounts suggest she worked on a floating brothel during her youth. There, she spent years watching powerful people. Who gave the orders? Who followed them? Who truly controlled the room? And she paid attention. Then fate placed a notorious pirate leader in her path. His name was Zheng Yi. Their meeting would change the South China Sea forever, but this wasn't an ordinary marriage. Ching Shih agreed on one condition. She wanted a significant share of both the treasure and the power. Many people saw it as a minor detail. It wasn't. Years later, that agreement would determine the fate of an entire pirate empire. Zheng Yi quickly became one of the most feared pirates in the South China Sea. Hundreds of ships, thousands of men, a name feared across the coast. But behind the scenes, another figure was rising. Ching Shih. She appeared quiet during meetings. Yet with every passing year, she gained more influence over the fleet's operations. Then everything changed. In 1807, Zheng Yi suddenly died. In a single moment, the massive pirate fleet had no leader. Normally, this is where civil war would begin. Captains would turn on each other. The fleet would break apart. Everyone would take their share and disappear. But Ching Shih didn't allow that. She moved fast. First, she pulled key commanders to her side. Then she formed an alliance with one of the fleet's most powerful figures, Cheung Po Tsai. That move was critical, because she was no longer just a widow. She was now the real leader of the entire fleet. And this is where one of the strangest pirate governments in history began. Most pirate fleets were ruled by chaos. Ching Shih ruled with laws, brutal laws. Disobeying orders could mean execution. Stealing from the common treasure could mean execution. Leaving shore without permission brought severe punishment. She even created harsh rules about female captives. Sexual violence was punished by death. Any pirate who forced a woman was executed. If a pirate wanted to marry a captive, he had to follow strict rules. Today that may sound strange, but these rules made the fleet more disciplined, and then it began to grow. Fast. Soon, Ching Shih's fleet was said to include around 1,800 ships. The total number of people under her command may have reached 70 to 80,000. That was larger than many official navies of the age. They were no longer just pirates. They had their own economy, their own intelligence network, their own tax system. Coastal towns paid them. Merchants paid for safe passage. Ships that paid were left alone. Ships that refused became targets. In other words, Ching Shih wasn't just commanding a pirate fleet. She had built a working state on the sea. Of course, the Chinese Empire could not accept this. Again and again, imperial fleets were sent against her. Again and again, attacks were launched. The result was always the same: defeat. Some admirals were removed from command. Some lost their careers. Some chose death over the shame of losing. By now, the problem was no longer just piracy. Imperial authority itself was being challenged, and the person challenging it was a woman. For the officials of the time, that was almost impossible to accept. After years of conflict, the empire tried a different weapon: negotiation. And this is where Ching Shih made her greatest move. She had already won everything she could win by fighting, but her real victory happened at the table. She entered negotiations unarmed. She agreed to surrender, but only on her own terms. The result was unbelievable. Most of her crew received pardons. Many pirates were allowed to walk free, and most importantly, they were allowed to keep much of the wealth they had taken. Most pirates in history were killed, or hanged, or forced to spend the rest of their lives running. Ching Shih was different. She stopped fighting. She continued her life. She operated a gambling house. She kept her fortune, and she died of natural causes. Maybe that is why her story is different. Blackbeard became a legend, but he was killed. Many famous pirates entered history, but they ended at the gallows. Ching Shih beat the system. She began as a pirate. She brought an empire to its knees and became the only pirate who truly won the game.